Oh, Cyclops, you're such a clown. What do you mean I shouldn't be reading a Marvel book during a DC review? The camera's on? Hi, I'm Jason Inman, and I love to read comic books. That's why on the week of July 3rd, I read all the DC New 52 comics that were published in the world. I'm going to give each of these a buy it, read it, or skip it rating. But before I get to that, don't forget to go to majorspoilers.com, the comic book website where they know that you love comic books, and we do too. Now let's monster up and pound into some reviews. Action Comics number 22. This book has one of the best Superman moments ever in the New 52. Basically, there's an alien that's on the moon, and the alien's sitting there, and Superman comes up to him and just like, hey, is everything wrong? I just want to see why you're chilling out on the moon here, near Earth. And the alien just punches Superman in the face, but it's very refreshing because Superman, just to go up to a person and just be like, hey, I'm a farm boy, and I'm very innocent, and I just want to make sure that everything's okay, all right, with you. It's very refreshing just not to see Superman just punch somebody. This issue is, I almost called it an episode. It's not a TV series. It's a comic book. You know what video you're watching, right? Huh? Anyways, this issue is a lot about like Hector Hammond floating in space, and I get what the writer is going for, but I don't really like Hector Hammond, and Hector Hammond doesn't really work as a Superman villain, if you know what I mean. So basically, this book is a read it, which means just borrow it from a friend. If you like Superman punching aliens, then this book is for you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go save a bunch of kids in France. Batman Incorporated number 12. Batman is a force of nature if you read a Grant Morrison comic book. He is a force that cannot be stopped. He cannot be touched no matter his will is so strong. This issue is Batman done right. This makes me so sad that Grant Morrison only has one more issue left in his grand Batman epic that started way back in the Batman 600s. I'm not quite sure of the exact number. It started with the Son of Batman, the Damian Wayne storyline. This issue has everything you ever wanted to need. Tim Drake and Nightwing team up. It has the reveal of a character that we haven't seen since Batman Inc. number 1. It has Talia al Ghul blowing up Wayne Tower. This book is unstoppable. It is like a freight train, not a fraud train that will never stop. It makes me sad that Grant Morrison's conclusion is going to happen. I wish he could stay on this book forever. But anyways, read this. It is a buy it. And if you don't buy it, Batman will punch you in the face. Seriously, he will. I know the guy. Batwing number 22. I really like Lucius Fox Jr.'s Batwing. Or as I like to call him, Morgan Freeman Jr. Like he says to say, get busy being Batman or get busy dying. Anyways, Morgan Freeman Lucius Fox is kidnapped by a bunch of people because they know that he designs Batman's gadgets. And so Lucius Fox Jr., who has just become the new Batwing, Batman's little armored Iron Man sidekick guy, suits up, gets Batman's help, and he figures out also that his dad, Morgan Freeman, designs stuff for Batman. And so they go and rescue the Sonar Vision from The Dark Knight shows up, which is kind of a cool nod. And basically, it's kind of a neat book. It's really cool that Batwing teams with Batman, and it makes sense why there is a Batwing now. It makes total sense, and it also makes you wonder if Batman has planted him there to keep an eye on the guy who makes his gadgets. Food for thought. This works so much better than the Batwing that was originally in just Africa and just stuck there in Africa because he was African American. This is a buy it. Detective Comics number 22. The evil Batman shows up. Wait a minute, I thought that was Mark Millar's nemesis. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. Anyways, this guy named Wraith shows up. He's like an armored Iron Man version of Batman. Wait a minute, isn't that Batwing? No, it's not. It's a different guy. Anyways, he shows up and he's killing cops specifically because he thinks the cops are bad or something. I don't know. They don't want to explain it. But anyways, he has a sidekick, kind of like Robin. He throws the sidekick out of a plane. The problem about this is that it would be such a great idea. It would be such a great idea to have the anti-evil Batman. But the thing about it is this businessman named Caldwell shows up earlier in the issue, and it's basically obvious from the start that he is this Wraith character. And if it wasn't for that, this would be a pretty good book. Now, if this character turns out not to be Caldwell, I will owe everyone on the internet $5. Mark my words. And that means, 5 Mexican pesos, which is actually like 5 cents. So you're not going to make that much money, internet. So if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Anyways, just still read it. Dial H number 14. This book is such a great concept that just went off the rails. It becomes Twin Peaks weird, and not Twin Peaks good weird, Twin Peaks bad weird. Like just weird characters show up, fat people are there, old women are there, they're just superheroes that you don't know, superheroes with weird names like Pipe Cleaner Man and Bloody Prop Hand Man, all this stuff. It makes no sense. You don't know what's going on. This could have been such a great book, but it's so sad that at this point it's already off the rails. And I believe I heard that DC is already canceling it. This is definitely a skip it. Earth 2 number 14. This is the best cover of the week. Nicholas Scott should draw the phone book. That's how good she is, that she makes me trip over my words. James Robinson, why are you leaving this book, sir? It is so awesome. Green Lantern, the new Flash, and Dr. Fate try to go stop Steppenwolf, and the army of Sandmen stop. Wesley Dodds reimagined stop, and guess what? He's got somebody in tow. He's got Red Arrow there. We don't know who Red Arrow is, but he is there. This book is so amazing, and this book is exactly what the New 52 DC should have been. Brand spanking characters, not really brand spanking characters, but characters that you've known for years reimagined into great and new epic situations. That is exactly what the New 52 should have been. I don't know why it isn't. Earth 2 is amazing. I'm going to miss James Robinson. This book is a buy it. If you don't buy this book, I'm just going to pound my leg into Bolivian. Not that is next door to Bolivia. Oblivion. Buy this book. So good. Green Arrow number 22. Jeff Lemire keeps hitting the bullseye with this book. Get it? Do you get it? It's an arrow joke, and an arrow has a bullseye. That's comedy right there for you. Anyways, he keeps making one of these books the best book out there in DC stands. It's really good. And, in Archer, it's kind of funny that we have Hawkeye over Marvel that's really good right now, and we have Green Arrow that's really good. The artist does an amazing job of reimagining Count Vertigo to be hip, to be cool, instead of this stupid kind of idiotic guy with a big cape and cowl, just like, oh, I'm a Count Vertigo, and I'll make you have eye problems, and he talks like this. Anyways, Green Arrow is pretty cool because it reintroduces the mystery of Shadow, a classic Green Lantern character, Green Arrow character, and you learn that he's Green Arrow's sister because of the evolving mystery in this book that is going on with Ollie's father. They're borrowing a lot of tactics from Arrow, the TV show, but it doesn't matter because it is so good. Buy it. Green Lantern number 22. I see what the writer is trying to do with this book. He's trying to put Hal Jordan in charge of the Corps to kind of present a new and interesting situation. But you know what? It doesn't work. The thing about Green Lantern is we need a personal connection with Hal. We need to feel like we are Hal, we are with him. And by putting him in space and putting him on Oa and not putting him to Earth and losing that personal connection, it means that this book just becomes Green Lantern Corps and it's not as interesting. We need the personal connection. That's the thing that made the Jeff Johns run so great, is because we knew exactly who Hal Jordan was and we understood him and we empathized with him. Empathized with him. I can't talk. I'm sorry. I apologize. DC had a lot of good books this week, and I apologize. So this book is only a read it. And what I mean by that rating is just borrow it from a friend or, flip through it in the newsstands, if there are newsstands that sell comic books, but don't buy it. Just read it. Stormwatch number 22. I looked at this cover and I thought that I had time travel back into 1996. That's how bad it looked. And why is Jim Starlin writing this? And why is this book so bad? And why did I waste my time of my life to read this book? Please, DC, you owe me 3 minutes of time and I will get my lawyers named Matt Murdock to come after you. Yes, I dropped the Marvel reference in a DC comic book review. What are you going to do after me? My lawyer's Matt Murdock. Bring it. And this is a skip it. Swamp Thing number 22. Comic books are always good when their plots are about whiskey. That's seriously the plot of this book. It's all about whiskey. See, this man walks into this Scottish town and he grows a whiskey tree. And the whiskey tree provides for the town. They can sell the whiskey. They can, become economically stable. Swamp Thing shows up and he's like, I'm a plant and I don't think trees should grow whiskey. And he turns himself into a tree so he can peep on the town. And John Constantine is there. And John Constantine's like, hey, mate, why you like a tree? What's going on there? I'm smoking my cigarette because it's magical. And it's very interesting that Swamp Thing is a peeping Tom as a tree and then Constantine catches him. But you learn that Constantine has drank the magic whiskey and he is also evil as well. So you got John Constantine turns the town against Swamp Thing and it all beats it up. This feels very much like a 1980s issue of Swamp Thing. It doesn't really seem like a New 52 issue of Swamp Thing dealing with the rot and the green and the red and all that stuff like that. But that doesn't mean it's not a good issue of Swamp Thing. It still is really good. Just doesn't seem like it seems like a Swamp Thing issue that would have happened before the New 52. Still, this is a read it. And no, it's not a read it. It's a buy it. Yep, I upped my rating right in the middle of the review. It's a buy it. The Movement number 3. A dude in this comic book captured and beat up a Huntress wannabe in this book and said to her, Daddy spank. And then he said, if that doesn't get it for you, I'm going to make you get on your knees and beg. I stopped right there. I stopped reading right there. And then I looked to see who wrote this comic book, The Movement number 3. And it was Gail Simone, a woman. A woman wrote a scene where a woman got bloody beat up, where a guy said, "Daddy spank, and I'm going to make you get down on your knees if you don't like it." What happened to Gail Simone? What happened to the Gail Simone that wrote The Amazing Secret Six? She wrote this? What? Skip this book. Skip it. Trinity of Sin, Pandora number 1, the big tie-in to Trinity War. Pandora, the mysterious woman who has been seen throughout the New 52 and all the number 1 issues everywhere, speaking in a very epic voice like this is how you can only talk about her issue. Basically, this tells her story from the beginning of time, how she was a girl, the little skull that you've seen around the New 52, released the spirits of the 7 deadly sins into the New 52, and she's been trying to capture them ever since. They think of her as a mother. They call her mother, which kind of torments her. A Vandal Savage shows up in a cameo, which is very quite funny, especially to a fan of Demon Knights as myself. I have a lot of Demon Knights fun. Love, not and fun. I have a lot of Demon Knights fun, kids. That's right, I said it, especially on Friday nights. Anyways, Pandora meets at the very end the wizard Shazam. And he is dying. He's given his power to Billy Batson. He has created the new Captain Marvel, the new Shazam. And the wizard says to Pandora, "I'm very sorry that I imprisoned you all these years. I shouldn't have imprisoned you, but I can tell you how you can capture the sins. You need to get the box again, the Pandora's box, basically. And it's in the Black Room held by Steve Trevor of Argus, who runs the Justice League of America, not the Justice League." And he says, but you can only open it with somebody who is pure of heart. So she takes off because she thinks it's Superman. And that's the end of the issue. So this gives me a very good prediction about what Trinity War is going to be about. I think she's going to get to Superman. She's going to convince Superman and the Justice League that they need to break into the Black Room. The Justice League is going to break into the Black Room, which is going to set Steve Trevor, Amanda Waller, and their Justice League of America against them. And then John Constantine and his Justice League Dark are just going to be like, "Hey, we should be in all that stuff too. We're magical, and we sort of call ourselves a Justice League. Here we go." And then that way you have the 3 Justice League teams. Here comes the Trinity War, and then it's all going to be solved because the one who is pure of heart in the DC Universe is actually Captain Marvel, Billy Batson. And he is going to open the box or close the box, and he is going to save the day. And because he saves the day, that's how he gets his invite into the Justice League. Boom! That's Trinity War right there. I just saved you $12. You're welcome. And you know what? This is a buy it. Go ahead, check it out. Trinity of Sin, the Phantom Stranger number 10. If you like fedora-wearing men walking through heaven, being led through the afterlife by a dog who's supposed to represent God, then you will like this issue. If you don't like that type of stuff, then this issue is probably a stay away from you, unless you're a Grant Morrison JLA fan. And if you're a Grant Morrison JLA fan, you should read this because Zoriel, his Hawkman, shows up, and it's awesome because he's in the New 52. But otherwise, that's about it. Did I mention that God is represented by a dog in this issue? It's really kind of weird. That's probably why you should just skip it. And that's all the DC New 52 comic books for July 3rd. As always, go to Majorspoilers.com, the comic book website that is just plain awesome and has awesome podcasts. If you don't listen to the Major Spoilers podcast, you're a fool, as Mr. T would say. So go listen to that podcast. It's on iTunes, it's everywhere, and I thank them for supporting excellent comic book videos like this. As always, comment below. Tell me what I should review next week. What? If you know what? I'm going to throw this out there. Do you want me to review a specific book, like a trade paperback? I'll throw that out there. Do you want me to review a TV show? I'll throw it out there. Do you want me to throw, go to another comic book company? DC has been just winning the comments every single week. So that's why I love you, DC fans, because you're supporting this video. And thank you to everybody who watches and comments. My little orange monster friend appreciates it too. And, thank you so much for watching these videos. Please like, favorite, and subscribe. And I will see you next week. This guy may not see you next week. I don't know. He may be out of town. Anyways, be seeing you.
So you were saying earlier that you actually had a Bigfoot encounter.
Yeah, alleged Bigfoot encounter. Well, I have to, full disclosure, for years I told myself it was a bear. Now you look at that mark.